Mesh routers are quickly becoming the hot new thing when it comes to networking, especially home networking, with kits available from people like Netgear, as you'd kind of expect with their Orbi lineup, but also from people like Google with their Google Wi-Fi, and they're all pretty popular. If you've heard, or if you're in the know when it comes to networking, you'll have likely heard of Ubiquiti before, mostly from their wireless access points. But now they're jumping in with this, their AmpliFi kits. They have their HD, which is the sort of bigger, more expensive one, and then their instant kits, which are a little bit smaller and a little bit cheaper. But first, a message from this video's sponsor, Pulseway. Their RMM software allows you to control, manage, and secure your PCs from anywhere from your phone or from their web dashboard. They've got agents for Windows, macOS, and Linux, and they've got a whole load of awesome features, including stuff like notifications on your phone if anything goes wrong on your systems. It's free for average folks like me for up to 2 systems, and business customers can get 2 months free with the promo code in the description down below, but either way, there's links down there that you can check out. Now, before we jump too far into these devices specifically, I want to quickly cover what a mesh router is. Essentially, it's a set of devices that act as if they're one router, but because they're separated and spread across your house, you get significantly better Wi-Fi range coverage, but you still get most of the benefits of having a single type of router. So for example, there's only one access point that your devices need to connect to, and with these specifically, it's incredibly fast and entirely seamless to switch between one to the other. Right, so now you understand a little bit about mesh networks, let's talk about these kits. I want to start with the HD kit, which is the more expensive one. It comes with this rather funky and modern looking cube router that actually has a pretty big circular display on the front, which has touch sensitive abilities, if you like, and lets you see stuff like the time and date, also your internet usage and your current internet speed. You can also see the router's IP address and how many devices are connected, both wired and on wireless. On the back of the router, you'll see that it uses USB-C for power, has a WAN Ethernet port, so that's the Ethernet port that you connect to your ISP's modem or to your internet directly, and that gives you internet connectivity. And then you have 4 gigabit Ethernet ports on the back as well, which let you connect your devices like your PCs or smart TVs. You also get 2 of these MeshPoint HDs, which essentially are your Wi-Fi range extenders. They actually just plug into the wall, they don't have any other outputs, and they do have a movable antenna to get the best coverage, but that's pretty much it. As long as you plug them in, you're basically ready to go. Jumping over to the instant kit, this one is a bit smaller. You only get 2 devices in the box instead of the 3 with the HD, and that does mean that you get a smaller Wi-Fi coverage area, but for most small to medium houses, this is going to be plenty fine. Now, the router itself does have a small black and white touch sensitive screen at the front that shows you all of the same information that the bigger router does. You do have a single Ethernet port on the back for your WAN, and then another Ethernet port for your local area connection to plug in devices to connect to it. It still uses USB-C for power, much like the smaller satellite as well, and the satellite is almost identical to the router, except it doesn't have the screen on the front and doesn't have the WAN Ethernet port, but does have one Ethernet port that you can connect to your devices wherever you move that router or the satellite to. Now, since these are basically identical to set up, I'm only going to run through once, but you can apply to either one, whichever one you pick up. I would also mention that while you can set these up manually by connecting to Ethernet and then setting them up in a web browser, they really want you to use the app, and so that's what I'm going to showcase here. The first step is connecting to the Wi-Fi network that they set up. It's a temporary one that you just connect to, and then click the sort of sign in with this Wi-Fi connection option. You can then name your Wi-Fi connection and give it a password, and then once you've done that, you can then open the AmpliFi app and go through the setup. Now, technically speaking, you could leave it there as long as your router is connected and your satellites, whichever system you've got, says that they're connected, but I would highly recommend that you do any firmware or any updates that are available. Both of them will say that they have updates available on the screens, and I believe you can even run the updates from the screens if you'd rather, but when you're connected with the app, you can just press a single button, press update, and then it will update all of your connected devices all at once, nice and simply. Once you do, you're then ready to go, and again, you could leave it there, but if you do want to tinker with any of the settings, there is a fair number of options available. You've got general settings for rebooting the device or changing the device device's name or anything like that. You can also change your Wi-Fi settings, including advanced settings like what band you want to be in for less Wi-Fi congestion, and you can also change internet settings, including running in bridge mode, which essentially just means that they act like wireless access points while your existing router does all of the actual routing. So how good are they? Well, using the AmpliFi HD kit, that's the one that's going to give you the best coverage in terms of Wi-Fi. It's also pretty fast, and while the connection between the main router and the satellites isn't quite at the full speed you might expect from, say, wired connections, the fact that you can move them anywhere and have great signal literally anywhere across the house is fantastic. A quick test of this with my Wi-Fi Analyzer app shows that you have incredible signal wherever you go in this house, and so that's pretty awesome. With the smaller Instant Kit, you do get a little bit less coverage, and you will have to be a little bit more careful about where you place your router and the satellite to get the best coverage for your house. But generally speaking, for small to medium properties, 2 to 3 bedroom houses for example, you should have no problem with using this kit and getting great signal basically anywhere. It's nice to have that Ethernet on the back as well. If you say have a smart TV upstairs and you just want to plug that in via Ethernet rather than connecting it to Wi-Fi, then that's a great option too. When it comes to absolutely hammering the connection and stress testing them, they generally do a very good job. Like I said, the connection between the satellite and the router isn't going to be a full speed connection most of the time, but I would mention that the Instant Kit does allow you to use Ethernet as your backbone rather than wireless, and so essentially what that means is you can connect an Ethernet cable from the router to the satellite and then use that as the connection between the two rather than Wi-Fi, and therefore you get a much faster and in theory more stable connection, although stability isn't something I've had an issue with either of these kits. So would I put one of these on my desk? Well, in general, yes. I'd probably go for the Instant Kit because it's really the best fit for my property and also generally for my use case. It's also about half the price of the HD kit at around about £160 rather than the HD sort of £350. Of course, if you do have a larger property though, that HD kit might be a better sweet spot for you. I would also mention that it'd be great to see Ubiquiti add the ability to mix and match these, because you can actually go and buy the satellites independent of these kits. And so if you could say buy a couple of the MeshPoint HD kind of connections, but also buy the main, the Instant Kit instead, but then attach the MeshPoint HDs to the Instant Kits, that'd be great because you get kind of the best of both worlds. And I have quite a specific use case that I could really do with being able to mix and match these for, but either way, it's nice. It'd be a nice kind of upgrade to see, but overall, great kit. So with all of that said, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Are these kind of mesh routers something you're interested in, or either of these kits themselves actually something you'd consider picking up? Are these still too expensive and you're just sticking with your ISP supplied router or something you've already got? Let me know in those comments down below. If you want to pick up either of these mesh routers, feel free to take a look at the links in the description down below. I'll leave a link to each one independently so you can see pricing when and where you watch this. Also, if you want to see more videos like this one, or more kind of gaming tech related or anything else, make sure you hit that subscribe button with the bell notification icon. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, so make sure you stay tuned for those. You can also support the channel by taking a look at the links in the description down below. There's Amazon and Overclock's UK affiliate links, which don't cost you anything to use, but massively help me out when you do use them. There's also Patreon if you want to get cool rewards and support me directly, or you can also check out merch for hoodies or t-shirts like this one, or a really awesome new design that just went up. I'm very excited about that, and I should have one of my own fairly shortly, so do check that out. There's also other links like private internet access, which is a great and cheap VPN, or Humble Bundle for cheap games to support charities too, and there's some other videos over there that you can check out if you want to keep watching. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed it. So if you've got any questions, leave those in the comments down below, and we'll see you all in the next video.